Welcome back, barbecue fans, for another week of Wise Guys BBQ. I'm Vin Picaro. Big Charlie Baldwin to my left. Bob Bauman from Big Bobby's Q, the infamous Big Bobby's Q.
That's
in the
more
house.
than famous. Infamous. Yeah. He's more than famous.
More than famous.
He's infamous.
And he's infamous. That's cute. Yeah, we got Bobby in the house. We're talking barbecue. We're talking to a competitor. Blown up to everything. Christie Vanover is here with us from Girls Can Grill. She is fantastic. She is 100% octane, on the go all the time. We're going to jump into a video with her right now so you get a chance to meet her. What's that?
I'm so nervous.
I know. I hope I do.
Don't be nervous.
Stay tuned. Here she comes.
Let's go.
All right, folks. Here she is, Christie Vanover from Girls Can Grill. Christy, thanks for being here. Christy's joining us today to kind of give us all her great information about what she's does and what she's been up to. She's got a couple key things I want to ask her about, but I know my panel audience does as well. Vin Picaro here with Charlie Baldwin, and of course, Bob Bauman from Big Bobby's Q is in the house. So, Christy, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Hi, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, you do so much. It seems like, is your whole life barbecue? I mean, is this whole thing? And I guess the question I have, because I'm curious about my future, is when did it take over your life? And has it been everything you wanted it to be?
Yeah, it's honestly, I couldn't even dream that this is my world right now. So, I was a career gal. I worked for the government for 20 years doing public relations marketing, kind of fell into barbecue in 2012, 2013, got hooked on it. There weren't a lot of women in the space to learn from and to lean on. So I was like, I'm just going to start sharing the stuff that I do. And as I learn, as I grow, I'll just kind of share my mistakes, my successes to help other people out. And that was 2015. I continued to work until about 2022, and that's when I was able to retire from my full-time job. And now barbecue is my life.
Yeah, because you're doing everything. I mean, besides marketing your own brand and producing your own content, you're traveling around, and just the traveling piece must take up a lot of your time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out as a competition cook in 2017. So in addition to running my website and teaching people how to grill basically online, I started competing and judging in 2017. And then a couple years ago, I started organizing as well, both state cookoffs as well as KCBS cookoffs. And then most recently, in the last couple of years, I've been really involved in the live fire scene and traveling with all of that too. So
Yay, live fire. I'm a big fan. All right, come on, you guys, jump on.
I'm just kind of piggybacking on what Vin was saying. I read a lot about you in the last week or so, and the amount of things that you've been involved in. I'm sitting here there going, how do you, I don't have 5 minutes to rub together. And, you've traveled to, every country, or is it just every state?
22. I've been to 22 countries and 50 states.
All right. Where do you find, the time constraints you must be from one thing to the next.
Yeah. The past 30 days have been insane. I was filming something for the past 2 weeks in Utah, and then I got a couple days break, and then planning for Memphis in May for the first World Championships with Live Fire. Went to Memphis for a week, and then came back, did a charity event at Creech Air Force Base, and then I did a competition this past weekend. So yesterday, I think I slept on the couch for 10 hours. And today I'm ready to rock and roll again.
There you go. That's awesome.
That is just a schedule and a half.
Now,
so what's your personal, what do you do for yourself, or is it just that you love barbecue so much that I'm doing something I love, so it's not, what they say, if you do something you love, it's not really work.
Exactly. This is my complete passion. And one of the things I love about barbecue is that it's where my friends and family are. So the competition this weekend, I was with my in-laws, I was with my parents, we travel around, we eat, we just, walk the area and kind of enjoy each other's company. And then of course, all my barbecue family. So it is my love and my passion is just being with my family and my dogs.
All right. I have a follow up to that. So if you look at creating product, creating content, or like you said, traveling around to different competitions and things like that. What's your favorite? Like, do you have one? Is there a favorite in there?
Yeah, I mean, it probably is the traveling, just because then I get to see my barbecue family from coast to coast. Whether I'm going to the Jack to judge or cook, then you get to see people from all over the world coming. Same with the live fire stuff. People from all over the world. I have new friends from Brazil, Australia, Germany. All over the place with that. So I do like the traveling, but I am kind of a homebody, believe it or not. So I really do like to just be home and cooking and again hanging out with my family and my dogs. But I also love the product development side of it. So I just launched my pastrami kit.
Yeah.
I've had my 3 lines of rubs for a while now, because by creating those things, it helps other people become better cooks. So by making things like, approachable and easy for other people to use, then it improves their barbecue skills. And I love that, because barbecue makes me happy. So I believe that barbecue can make other people happy.
Sure.
So I do what I can to help in that arena.
So how's your pastrami kit doing? Because I think that's genius. I mean, everybody gets like, not freaked out, just amazed by pastrami. Oh, pastrami dino rib, what's that? But it's basically your kit, right? Putting good use to meat. Like what? How'd you come up with that? When did you start it? How's it doing?
It's doing great, actually. I just launched it, I think maybe a month ago. It was right before I went out of town. I've been working on it since July of last year. The process of consumer packaged goods is just such a long process, but I make pastrami at home all the time. And I was like, why don't I package this up? And I don't have my full kit in front of me, but it basically, it comes with a bag of brine. And that's kind of the secret to pastrami, is you just soak your meat in that brine with some water. Number of days depends on the protein you're doing. And then you season it up, which my kit comes with the rub too. And so it's super, super simple to do at home. Right. And it comes with free recipes so that you can try it, everything from brisket to pork to dino ribs, like you said, or pastrami turkey's like my favorite lately. So yeah, it's doing great.
Pastrami turkey.
Yes, it's really good.
Never thought of it.
It's for sale on my website, Amazon, and now some select Shields locations picked them up too. So I'm super stoked about that.
Congratulations. It's genius. It's good. It's a great idea. I mean,
thank you.
It's one of those round peg, round holes. There's a need for it. People don't get it. And there you go. You put it all in a bag. That's fantastic. Actually, we were doing one of our Destination Q episodes this past weekend. Charlie, you hit on, they had pastrami.
They had pastrami wings. Yeah. Wow. Yep. I mean, I've never seen that on the menu before, and they hit it out of the park. Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, I have a recipe for that. It's so easy. You brine them for like 2 days, and then season them, and then cook them. Yeah, it's a great Father's Day present too.
Yeah, okay, remember that one.
Yeah, I got to think that's got to be a huge. I don't want to say stretch, but a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like, I would absolutely agree with you. I mean, there's nothing better than traveling and seeing folks you haven't seen all the time, and it just seems like a party. Your live fire Instagram videos are just off the charts. It just looks like you guys having a blast. It looks like us at spring break 30 years ago, right? Or maybe
minus the jail.
Yeah. But then again, you come home.
Nope.
Then you come home and you want to cook, right? You do what you do best, and then what you're creating is awesome. That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah. How did the competition go this past weekend? I'm a competition guy, so.
Bob wants to know.
Yeah. So I got second place in ribs.
Nice.
That was my only call this weekend. Everything else was kind of middle of the pack. I've been in a rut lately, which is weird, because I don't know why. I've been running the same stuff, but I think what it is that teams are just getting better. So many of us share information. Like, I have all my recipes at competitionbarbecuetips.com. Right. And so people can get all that information now, or via YouTube, or, other courses. And so because I judge, I also know that teams are just getting better. Right. So the competition's harder and harder, but I did take second place ribs. So nice. I was stoked about that. And then
congratulations.
Thank you. And there was an SCA the night before. And I just did the ancillaries, and I took first place in dessert. So
what'd you make?
I did the category was anything but cheesecake.
Oh, good.
Because cheesecake always wins. So I did a pecan buttermilk pie.
Wow. Yikes. I need to have that. So what you're saying is, you're kind of, now that you've got all your recipes and rubs and everything out there, you're kind of battling yourself a little bit in these competitions, aren't you?
Right.
That's tough.
I share all my secrets. So now I just gotta.
Yeah. Works for Christy. It'll work for me. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I know you got something else, Bob.
But there's always, out of 4 meats, there's got to be one that stresses you out the most.
I guess chicken. I used to be really get top calls on chicken all the time. And lately I've been bouncing around between thighs and legs because there's so many more legs getting calls. And I just, I play around with both. And I think that's one of the challenges though with competition barbecue is when you start to second guess yourself, that's when you mess yourself up. If you just run your program and stick to it,
to the program.
It's going to hit.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, you use your own stuff, but we were talking to somebody recently who said that the rubs and stuff they've been using consistently this year for some reason they were a little off. Isn't that
Q Shanty.
I know. Was it Q Shanty or barbecue? Oh, no, Q Shanty.
Q Shanty made the comment.
Yes,
because and Brian Dwares from Barbecue Bus was saying his pretty consistent because he hasn't changed his Packers in a while.
From El Jefe too, wasn't Jeff saying?
Well, no, El Jefe was the knight in shining armor because Q Shanty was freaking out. He was like,
he helped him out, right?
Right. Yeah. Q Shanty was like, something's up. I can't use this. It's not the same. I've used this all the time. It changed somehow, and I don't know what to do. So he went out to Smoking Hogs, Bill Gillespie, and he went out to El Jefe, Jeff from El Jefe, and said, "Help me. What am I doing?" So they came in, they saw the problem, and I think they re-engineered something.
They doctored it up to bring it back to what it was originally.
Have you ever run into anything like that in your career, or you strictly been using your own stuff the whole?
I use mine plus some others. I mean, I layer flavors and layer sauces, but yes, I have found, and actually working with co-packers myself, I know how it happens. Like if you don't use the same co-packer all the time and the same ingredients all the time, then rubs can change. And I know like some of the rubs that we've used over the years are gone, like Oak Ridge and, things like that. And, some things have changed over the years. Mine personally were with Spiceology when I started out, and then I switched and now I do it independently myself. So my rubs did change a little bit as well. I think they're better now, honestly, because I had a lot more control.
Yep.
But I tried to get a second co-packer to have as a backup, just in case my current co-packer can't fulfill my orders. And even with the exact same formulations, they didn't taste the same. So
Crazy.
I just have my single co-packer right now. So it can definitely happen. It's the mixing of ingredients, and if it's not exactly the same stuff, it can change.
I mean, because you guys are always looking for consistency. Right. I mean, that's a huge thing. You want to know what you're cooking and how you think it's going to turn out.
So in the case of the pastrami, when you said you started last July and you make that kit, and of course, there's got to be a lot of, taste testing going on and collaboration with folks. Is there a pastrami king? Like, is there someone you go to say, hey, you're my guy. I want you to taste this. I want you to tell me what I'm missing.
No, I'm the Pastrami Queen, I guess.
You are for sure.
See how he used king?
Yeah.
See, that's that masculine problem in barbecue.
It's my Wise Guys persona. I'm sorry.
I would love to have somebody taste it, but I was actually confident in my recipes from the get-go. It was a matter of getting my co-packer to make the formulation exactly the way I wanted it to be made. And you're right, the testing is laborious because I get the kit, I get the brine, but then you've got to brine it for 5 to 7 days and, smoke and all this stuff. So every time I got a new formulation, I had to take the time to, make the adjustments, more salt, less salt, more cinnamon, less cinnamon, different things like that. And finally got it. The pastrami rub was pretty good straight out the bat. But then you got to do labels and packaging and boxes and all that stuff.
So is that process for you more scientific or more culinary experience?
I think culinary. I think it was my personal recipe that I make at home. I love it. And I've used it, like I said, for years. So it was a matter of, I would make my batch at home with my ingredients and my recipe. And then I would make the batch based on the pouch they sent me. And then I would smoke them both and compare them both. And mine that I made at home is always exactly how I wanted it. So I would have to say, okay, mine is the perfect level of salt. Theirs is either too salty or not enough. And same with sweetness. And, but I went through a lot of briskets.
I was going to say that. You're talking a lot of pastrami there.
Yeah, because everything must matter. The size, the trim, the amount of time in the brine. There's a lot of variables that you're more or less trying to control, but kind of control themselves, right? Right.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah.
And even with the rubs. So like I said, with my process, you brine it and then you rub it and you kind of let it dry cure for another day or so. Mm-hmm. And so I would have to do a batch of my brine and their brine, and then a batch of my rub and their rub, and like mix and match to see what was off. Was their rub off? Was my rub off? So yeah, it was a long process, but eventually we got it there, and I'm really, really happy with it. And the results, I mean, the 5-star reviews just keep rolling in. People are having so much fun with it. So I love it.
Fantastic.
I want to try it. We just during St. Patty's Day, we did a pastrami and we did a corned beef, but nice. We're due to do another one, and I think I definitely want to use your kit. I want to do exactly what you said. I want to have ours and then yours, right? And just see how they compare. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
We'll get ready for pastrami.
Give us a lowdown. 2 weeks ago was Memphis in May.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I've been working with Al Fragoni and Mike Starr for a couple years now. They do the Open Fire meetup in Hondo, Texas, where, teams come out and a lot of social media big dogs come out, and they do live fire cooks. Cooks from all over the world have started coming. And what we did down in Texas this past year is the top 5 teams then qualified for the World Championships. And we partnered with Memphis in May to bring the first live fire World Championships to Memphis. So Al brought me on as the event manager. And so I kind of coordinated a lot of the details. Mike was mainly in charge of the competition side. I was more the open fire experience side. But the cooks, oh my gosh, the level of culinary skill that these individuals have was amazing. And it all had to be cooked over open fire, which means no lids. The fire has to be live, meaning no pellet grills, no gas, nothing that you need power or anything to control the fire. It all had to be like live coals, live wood. And again, no lids. And you would think that they were cooking in 5-star restaurants, the stuff that they turned out. It was fantastic. And then the live fire experience itself for the public, we were doing whole hogs, whole alligators, whole lambs.
Yeah. Nice.
Just a ton of fun stuff.
It looks like a blast. It looks like so much fun.
Christy,
Did you freak out when you got the responsibility of coordinating the event? Did you freak out? I mean, how did you take it? No. It was just another day in the life of Christy.
Yeah. So I organized the barbecue jackpot. That's my contest here in Las Vegas, and it's the largest West Coast KCBS competition. And we added a live fire element last year, so it's my comfort zone. I'm very OCD organized, so I just make lots of lists and to do things. And
good for you. That's great.
Christy, for our listeners, can you just give me a brief description of live fire and what that entails? I know you said it's not a pellet grill and all that stuff, but how did that get started? I mean, obviously it's like the most primitive way to cook, meats in history, but how did that get going, and what exactly is the technique?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that Al really brought the resurgence of this primitive style of cooking to light with social media. He would gather people together and they would just do these live fire cooks, a lot of times following what he learned throughout his life in Argentina, because that's where he's originally from. And so it is just cooking over open fire and live fire. And then they just started sharing it on social media, and people just, I think from there got that passion, just that spark. And then, like I said earlier, they started that event. And now we just announced at Memphis in May that Mike, Al, and I have started the Live Fire Cooking Association. So it is a new sanctioning body. There are going to now be competitions across the world, similar to KCBS or SCA, that organizers can create these contests and bring this open fire cooking to your neighborhood.
So there's one coming up in Texas, right? Is it next month?
In October, there will be one in Texas. I know we're talking to a couple of organizers for some in some other locations. And then this year, my barbecue jackpot in Las Vegas will have an LFCA component to it.
Oh, that is fantastic. Do you guys get up to New England at all in the area, the region?
I haven't in a really long time. I used to live in Connecticut years and years ago, but I do know Kathy from up there and Bill and a few others. So we would love to bring LFCA up there.
Yeah, that's great.
That'd be great.
That is fantastic. I'm intrigued by it. I love open fire, period. I didn't ever, organize my culinary experience through that event. And then when I saw what Al was doing, I think he started with who was it? It was the meat scientist. I think he started with doing some stuff.
Mad Scientist Barbecue,
Yep. And then I just fell into his channel, and before he blew up with Tagwood, and I was like, this is cool. I got to try this. And I have a great time doing it. It's so much fun.
One of the things that's really cool about it from a competition side is it's so different for the public. When the public comes to a KCBS comp or even an SCA comp, we're all like in our trailers doing our thing. The lids are closed. You can't really see and experience. And, the teams aren't always talking to the public because we're so focused on that cook and making that 30-minute window. With open fire, it's just like an all-day thing where you're just sitting back and sipping on your favorite beverage and, having a good time, and the public sees it. The sponsors like that because then there's more public engagement. So there's more return on their investments. So it just is, I don't know, it's kind of like a lot cooler, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
well, the contraptions they come up with too, to cook on are just amazing. Right. They look medieval, right? They look like a torture device. Some things are spinning around and stuff.
Yeah.
They look so cool. And the people doing it, because, what I was amazed with when I did my first couple of cooks, it's not that hard. If you look at what you have to do with, like, I'm a pellet smoker and I'm a gas grill kind of a guy. So going from that to this, to live fire, I thought it was like, oh, this is an all-day event. I'm going to be chained to the machine. And it's like, what do I do? But the way you build your fire and you spread your coals and depending on what you're cooking, it's not that difficult. And it's actually more fun because you're going back and forth with that grill all day with your your guests included. It's just fun. And I think it has to be a social piece. I don't think anybody would have fun if they did that behind closed doors, right? I think you have to have people walking around and it's almost like, it's like a circus. It's great. It's so much fun.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just what I love about it is it brings a stronger connection to the food and to the meal because you are so hands-on instead of just pushing a button and walking away. And there's moments for that. I mean, I do a pellet grill every now and then too, but you're just really connected with the whole experience and you bring others into that. And that's what's cool about it.
Fantastic. Yep. Is there any kind of like regulation on what kind of grill you cook on or anything like that?
So we have two different styles of competitions. We have the open fire and the live fire. So with both, like I said, the fire has to be alive on its own, meaning no assisted, blowers or pellets or, pellet augers or gas. So it has to be alive on its own. But the difference between open fire and live fire is open fire means no lids, and live fire means that the fire is alive by itself, but you could close the lid. So it could be like on a Weber or a WSM or drum smoker or something like that would be allowed. The Memphis in May was pure open fire, but we will allow either. Just depends on how it wants to be sanctioned.
Mm-hmm. Copy that.
So there's a question here that you wrote down, and I would also apply it not only to competition barbecue but also live fire. Is there any barbecue trends that you see out there and related to these types of smokes that are just overrated? It just doesn't make sense. Like, why do these people, it's clickbait, right? They just want people to go and check out their stuff. Do you find anything like that you get aggravated with?
I mean, there's definitely, and it's not even just social media, like influencers, like even restaurants. I saw the other day, like there was this Applebee's hamburger that's like sliced in half and like served in a bowl of queso. Like nobody needs that. Sorry, I like Applebee's, but like sometimes people just do things a little bit over the top.
I just added that to my menu.
Scratch.
Not. Christy says no.
So, I mean, and I'm guilty of it too, but definitely like over cheesiness for that cheese pull and, big hunks of meat, which honestly can be hard because that gets expensive, not just for us as creators, but for the public. They're not all going to be able to go out and buy tomahawk steaks and dino ribs. And so, sometimes we go a little bit overboard on that, whereas showing somebody how to cook amazing chicken wings is something people can actually do. And that sometimes gets more views because people are like, how can I do something that's affordable that I can feed my family with? So, yeah.
Gotcha.
The World Cup.
Yes.
Is there going to be live fire?
Potentially.
Wow, playing it close to the vest there. Give us a scoop.
Talks.
We're in talks.
So the World Cup. So it's going to be in Vegas, which is just coincidence that I live here. I'm not actually like part of the World Cup ownership or founders or anything. It just happens to be a competition in my backyard. And they reached out to several of us in the beginning to be part of this Pitmaster Council because the founders are more in the sports and entertainment arena and they're offering that $1 million prize purse, which is huge. But they acknowledged that they needed some barbecue expertise moving into developing like how it would actually work. So in the beginning, they had their pitmaster council. They've kind of limited that now because several of the members have qualified to cook. So they can't really be on a council anymore.
That's a conflict of interest, isn't it?
Right. So they were like, okay, thanks for your early advice. We've got this from here on out. So I haven't heard much from them since then. However, in addition to the $1 million competition, which will be a multi-day, not exactly KCBS style, but similar to that style of competition barbecue. But there will be other things like an expo, like kind of think about like a barbecue convention where sponsors can all come in and show off their wares. There will be demos, kind of like what you see at the Home Depot stage or our open fire experience at Memphis that we just did. But the Barbecue Cup is in talks with us about also doing some things related to open fire. So more, probably not so much on the competition side, but more on the spectator side.
Christy, how do you manage social media? You're not doing it. Do you have a staff that does it for you?
It's me.
Seriously.
Wow.
Seriously. Yeah. I wasn't trying to be condescending. I'm just saying, like, I know what I do and I do nothing. I do 1% of what you do. And if I had to do social media full time on top of it, I couldn't. And I just, so that's you. I mean,
everything that I do is me. I don't have a staff at all. I mean, my husband and my family helps me at competitions with logistics, whether I'm organizing or cooking. I mean, they definitely move a lot of things for me and all that. But yeah, no, social media is all me. I shoot, I edit, I write, I do all the recipes on my website. I published my cookbook myself.
Really?
Yeah,
it's when I was starting to feel good about myself and what I've accomplished in life. Thanks, Christy.
Yeah,
I'll start over.
Holy mackerel! Well, I'm ready for a nap.
One thing that has helped me is that I actually will spend like 1 to 2 days planning my social media content for the month. And I use a program called Metricool, there's so many programs out there, but it's just a scheduling program where I'll create all my content and then schedule it. And then I go and I travel and I do all my things. And it works great, except for when I show up to a competition and someone's like, oh yeah, I saw your post today about da-da-da-da. And I was like, I don't remember. I scheduled that 15 days ago.
That is.
So am I picturing you on the plane with your laptop and doing your editing and all that? Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Got to. Crazy.
That's me.
All right. Listen, we are big fans of the Jack Daniels competition, the Jack, and I see that you've been there many times.
Yes.
We want to go. How should we go? And obviously we're not competing, but we want to go and take it all in. What's a good game plan?
We're going
for
this
us?
year.
I'm
awesome.
We have to.
We're qualifying this year.
If anything, just for the pork butt bowling is what I'm looking forward to.
It's on your radar.
It's on my radar. It's on my bucket list.
Well, if you have the days that you can take, I would recommend getting there Wednesday afternoon, flying into Nashville, getting in town Wednesday afternoon, because Wednesday night there is a champions dinner, and they have that at Miss Mary Bobo's, which is just this classic little restaurant in town. There's a ton of history to it, and they feed you family style. But with the champions dinner, they pair up with the Miss Mary Bobo's chef and a former Jack champion who cooks some sort of a meal. It's been Chris Schaefer before. It's been Tuffy Stone, Brad Leiniger. And so they'll cook up a meal and you sit in there with other pitmasters, sometimes judges, sometimes just Jack family. And you sit in there and enjoy that meal. And it's kind of a nice start. Oh, and it starts with a cocktail hour at the distillery too, which is also nice. And then Thursday is usually a great time to do like a distillery tour if you've never done the tour, and just kind of walk the town. There's like vendors and stuff. And then Friday is obviously when a lot of the competitions start. There's a cocktail competition. There's an I Know Jack competition, which is a grilling contest that's similar to Chopped, where there's 5 teams who open a basket and then they have to make a dish and show it to the judges, and the public can watch all that. Plus there's the other things that you were talking about. And then Saturday, obviously, the big competition with the awards at the end. So I always go in on Wednesday and go to that champions dinner, and then just kind of take it from there.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
sounds good. What's the living situations there? Are you having to get a place like 30 miles away and then drive over, or is pretty much that?
Yeah, most of the time people are, if you're in a hotel, it's definitely a good 30 miles away, maybe 20. There's a lot of Airbnbs now though. So if you can look far enough in advance, you can sometimes find an Airbnb in Lynchburg, and that's a good bet.
Fantastic.
Good deal.
Cool.
So more about Christy. I mean, if there's one person, I don't want to say dead or alive, but one pitmaster you could cook with that just would really, flip your hair, who would that be?
I don't know. I've been really fortunate to cook with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
there's nobody on your bucket list?
I'd probably like to cook with my grandma again. And that wouldn't be really grilling. But she passed away when I was, I think I was maybe late 20s maybe. And we lived so far apart. She was in California and I was in, Kentucky or wherever else I was living at the time. And so I knew that she was a good cook, but I never really got to cook with her. So I think I would like that experience.
No, you said I think I read that you learned a lot from your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Cooking, right? So is that his mom that you're speaking of?
No, it's my dad's mom.
Your dad's mom? Okay. All right.
But what I learned from my father-in-law was really, I was so obsessed with like recipes and cookbooks and measuring every single thing. And he's the one who taught me. I remember going to their house before we were married, before my husband and I were married, and he would just cook and throw stuff in a pan. And it was so good. And I'm like, okay, how did you make that? How many teaspoons? How many cups? And he's like, girl, that's not how you cook. Maybe that's how you bake, but that's not how you cook. And so he really taught me to just taste my food and understand flavors more than just following recipes. So, and he was the griller who taught me the basics of grilling. And now where I'm at, I'll teach him different stuff, but I'm always still learning from him. And he's on our competition team. He has his roles too. I do all of the cooking and all of the recipes and everything for the team, but he's definitely logistics and everybody's favorite laughter. Like he just makes everybody laugh.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that
good?
I was going to go back to a little bit more about Christy and your history. Do you know she was a park ranger?
I didn't know.
I saw that.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I saw that.
The Baumans are a big national park family. We travel, we go, and we like to go to the national parks. Where were you stationed? What park were you in?
Yeah. So I was at Lake Mead National Recreation Area, which is right out of Las Vegas right here.
Yep,
Many people it's not a national park, but it's part of the national park system.
You're right.
And it's actually the 5th most visited national park unit in the whole country. So that was really fun. I did public affairs, public relations for the National Park Service for 8 years. My husband was in the Army for 20 plus years. So I worked for the Army in public relations and the Air Force in public relations, and then worked for NBC and some private advertising firms and stuff. So just every time we moved, I just kind of found a new job in public relations and marketing.
Park ranger.
Outstanding.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But you weren't stuck up in a tower for like 3 weeks on end. Before
the watchtower.
You weren't doing watchtower. Okay.
No.
All right.
So, I mean, in the end, though, Girls Can Grill. That's your baseline. That's it, right? That's your. If you had like one thing takeaway for our audience to know about Girls Can Grill, what would that be? What's your mantra?
Yeah, that it's really for everybody. Like it started out of something to encourage other women to just grab the tongs and give this a try. But it really isn't just for women at all. It's really like get out. Like if you want to learn to barbecue, come to my website, come to my social media channels, and I'm going to break it all down for you. Whether you want to just do something simple in your backyard, whether you got a gas grill, a Weber kettle, or whether you want to go all the way to the competition level, I've got a whole breadth of information, and I'm really an open book.
Yeah. No,
that's a big thing about her. Traditionally, and like I've read a bunch of her stuff, and traditionally, the masculine emphasis on cooking, goes back to, like we said, when we were wearing, animal skins and stuff. The men hunted and cooked the food, and it's just been, a traditional thing that's gone along. Did you have any bumps in the road with that? Getting started and doing what you're doing? Did you run into any old boys clubs?
Surprisingly, not a lot. I was nervous about that, but I think that kind of growing up in a military community as a woman in kind of an Army space, I would always come across, oh, honey, I got this, I'll take care of this little girl. Like, and I'm only 5 feet tall too. So it's always just, there's always occasions, but I never really took it personally. A lot of times, honestly, it's men who are just trying to help, but not trying to like insult. They're just like, that's their nature, is to help a woman, out. And so, but I grew up kind of with that. So then when I started this, I thought that might be the case. And no, the barbecue community is so embracing of everybody. I would say where I get it the most pushback is just trolls on the internet. It's not actual barbecue family members. It's stupid people online who are like, girls can't grill.
Yeah.
Your brisket looks like shit. I'm like, great. It took 5th place in the world. Have a fun day.
I'm sure yours is much better, Mr.
Right.
Random
Right.
Jerk.
I was going to say something better, but anyway.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
I gotta pay you a compliment. I spend a lot of time on the internet and on barbecue stage, and I love when I go to your channel, you got a pop-up that hits you, but it's not that trite, boring pop-up. It's like, I think the one I saw the other day was, what kind of grill should you buy? Or what kind of grill would you like to buy or something? And I think that's so great. Like, why ask for an email or it was like, hey, like get engaged. Like, that was really creative. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, let's ask a question. You're immensely successful. You've been everywhere you've done. We're 2 years in with this, what's the next step for us? Like, how do we, we're trying to get to the next level. You have any ideas or thoughts on what we should be doing? Now we do cooks and we do the podcast, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think those are both great starts, and inviting on more and more guests to like definitely get that insight, share that insight, and then just be present. Just whether you are competing or judging or whatever, just be present in the space. Like go to the Jack, go to Memphis, go to your local backyard competitions. If you have a local like association, we have a barbecue association. That's really what got me started, and networking with people, because I find a lot of times like people get intimidated by people with big numbers on social media. And they're like, oh, I don't know if I should go talk to them or not. And you'll find, go to an event, volunteer at an event, meet these people, and barbecue people are the salt of the earth, as you know. And
Yes.
the more you talk to people, the more you learn about how to launch a product line, if that's the direction you want to go, or how to organize a competition, if that's the direction you want to go. And but my number one rule is keep having fun. Even at a competition, my 2 rules at a comp are have fun and get at least 1 call, because if I'm not having fun, then it's time to look for something else. But so far I'm having a blast.
Yeah, you basically echoed Big Bobby's Q advice over here. He's like, the wise guys are going to be rubbing elbows with folks at competitions and meeting new people. And for sure, it's the way to go. So let me turn that around a little bit on you now. So what's next for you, Christie Vanover and Girls Can Grill? Like, what's your next goal that you're putting out there?
Yeah, so definitely the live fire stuff is new. Like running a sanctioning body 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have never thought that would be a possibility. So, I kind of graduated from judge to cook to organizer to now running a sanctioning body. So that's where a lot of my energy is going to go.
Oops.
I don't have any future product launches. I've already published 2 cookbooks now, so I don't think I'll go that direction. So I think at least for the next 2 years, it's LFCA is definitely going to be my focus.
Great. I'm excited about that.
Thanks.
That's all I care about. Sorry, I'm being I'm being selfish, guys.
I think someone might want to organize an event in New England.
No, I am not there yet.
You said no to having a cooking team too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
there's a progression, I guess.
I wear him down to the nub, and then
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. If you visit girlscangrill.com, you're going to get a ton of free recipes, barbecue tips. I do have a barbecue tips podcast, but I haven't actually dropped a show since February because I've been so insanely busy, but that will be coming back this summer. Like I said, I have 2 cookbooks on Amazon. On Amazon, on my website, you can find all my rubs as well as my pastrami kit. And then I do have the competitionbarbecuetips.com website where I have all my competition barbecue courses.
Nice.
And
awesome.
at Girls Can Grill on every social channel.
Yeah. Well, Christy, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you
This
very
has
much.
been fantastic. You're a pleasure. I
Thank
love
you.
everything you do. It seems like,
Thanks.
I want to say barbecue gold, everything you touch, and that's great.
seems that way.
Seems that way. So keep it up with live fire, because that's a passion of mine. And thank you very much for being here.
And make sure you send an email. Hey, you going to organize that event yet? I can help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, write him.
Yes.
Will do. Thank you, guys. It's been
All
a
right.
pleasure. And I wish you the best barbecue success as you grow too.
Well, that was a fantastic interview, guys. Talking to, and I just have to put it out, talking to a really big name in barbecue these days, Christie Vanover. If if it's out there with barbecue, she's seen it and done it, obviously, in addition to her personal life. I don't know how she does it, but what a great talk.
24 hours in a day?
She's probably got 26. She probably negotiated 26 hours.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, it's crazy.
So go get yourself some barbecue, and I appreciate your attentive audience participation with everything Wise Guys BBQ, and we'll catch you next week.
Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Adios.